this button, and having pressed this button, it is now recording. Hooray! Bessie, hi. Hello. We're doing a thing. It's the first pre-record in ages, and I'm so shonky at it. Hello, viewers and watchers and listeners. Hello, all of you in the chat. It's going to be a very pleasing, relaxed natter tonight. It's going to be wonderful. I'm very much looking forward to it. We're going to be talking about Bessie's Ballast, which for lots of you, you might be going, what? Well, the whole point of the episode is to explain what we're talking about. But for lots of you, you'll know precisely what we're talking about, because I know there's a major overlap of extremely online railway people and Rail Natter and Bessie, your Ballast campaign. Raising money for Samaritans in style, I have to say, in style. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And in fact, if I press the next button, I tease this with the Samaritans t-shirt and some of the ballast in question. And that's the plan. In fact, let's get the two of us. Let's get our faces now. Hi, Bessie, you're here. It's in real life. Yay!
Thank you for having me.
That's all right. I'm drinking. What am I drinking? Oh, it's not water. It's elderflower cordial made by my darling wife. Thanks, Dina, for making cordial. It's been going. It's amazing how much cordial you can get out of not an incredibly large amount of elderflower. Anyway, so everyone at home, hydrate. So Bessie, firstly, thanks for joining us. I'm so glad you could make it to the show to talk about your artwork. It's super cool, and we're going to talk. So we're going to talk loads about why on earth you thought this was a good idea to paint so many pieces of ballast and put yourself under intense pressure to create these artworks. And that's the least of your stresses, as we'll see later on when we unpack your rucksack by the end of the episode. But I'm looking forward. We're going to find out all of it within the next however many minutes we run for. I'm just trying to work. We've been going. So this is. I don't know. This is now. It's currently Tuesday night, except it isn't. It's obviously Wednesday night. Everyone, as we know. I'm bad enough with understanding temporal space without doing pre-record episodes. Anyway, so I'm going to stop waffling. It's a rail natter. We just waffle away.
In the past, this is past us.
I know, yeah. Well, I just went. I went to the first theatre show since before lockdown, and it was very. I don't know how we managed to get tickets to see Ray Fiennes doing a monologue. It was amazing, right? There he was, Ray Fiennes. Me and Dina just and he was doing this absolutely mind-bending. I think it's called Four Seasons. Absolutely mind-bending. Had no idea what he was on about. I felt highly I just had no idea what was going on. And it was all about talking about time as being, oh man, it was mind-blowing.
Oh,
for someone who already doesn't comprehend time. Anyway.
I had him on my train once.
What? Really?
I was training to be a guard for Greater Anglia, and I was with another guard who was teaching me the route, and a man got off the train and walked off. I think it was around Saxmundham, and she went, oh, that was bloody Voldemort. And I was thinking, was it? But yeah, that's as far as I know, he was on my train.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. Well, there we go. There are Ray Fiennes. Neither of us expected there to be a Ray Fiennes anecdote this early into the show, but there we go. It's Rail Natter. Who knows what's going to happen? Oh, well, in any case, let us return to the images and to be honest, let's crack on. Let's go on with the show. Welcome everyone to tonight's Rail Natter. And as the In-City 225 fades away, with me having stuffed up pressing the button at the start, but it'll all come out in the edit. All I can say is well, actually, put up this picture, Bessie, of you in front of a little piggy wig. Because it's a chance. This picture is, I mean, you're looking very pleased. Firstly, tell us about this picture. What's going on here?
So this is at Fratton Depot. And they just opened the new old sidings. So it was sidings that they used to have closed down and then reopened them again. They were lovingly called the banana sidings. I believe it's to do with a curve, but then they're also saying that they had bananas delivered their way back then. So it could be both. So we just put the first train back into the new old banana sidings, and it was great fun, and it was a pig, and it was just a really, really good time.
R.I.P. the pigs. Seeing as I think they're kaput, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I think the last one went a couple of days ago. But
farewell.
I just think they're beautiful little things.
They're funny machines, aren't they? Because they've got very strange faces, and then they're just Mark III coaches with electronic kit underneath. But people love them. People absolutely love them.
They're an abomination. They're just a mess, really. But I just I like them because of that. It's just a shame that they couldn't have come with us.
Yeah, indeed. So let's get both of our large faces back. Bessie, tell us what you do. Tell us what you do on the railway. Tell us a bit about your railway story as well.
So, always wanted to be on the railway. My dad's a guard, has been for a very long time now, and he made it look magical. So I did become a guard, and it was magical. It's a brilliant job being a guard. You're out there in just the whole world. It just feels like you're in the whole world. Oh, smashing stuff up. And I only did that for a couple of years. Things changed. So with Greater Anglia, they got a whole new fleet in, fantastic fleet, but the role definitely changed with it. And for me, it wasn't the same. That's when I thought, right, I'll do something else. And I didn't know what that something else was going to be. I applied to so many things. I applied to be mom, P-way, particular. I went everywhere. I put my application in. I thought the first job that comes up, I'm going to do it. And managed to pass the driving assessments and got the role as depot driver at Fratton. Been doing that since November, but now not doing it because I will be joining Freightliner in 13 days.
Oh.
13 days from now.
13 days. So that means that
13 days.
It might be happening. Wait a minute. 30. How many? What date is that going to be?
16th. That is 13 days. No, kind of 13 days.
So this will be going out just after that, I think. Is it going out on the 18th? I should know. Yeah, this is going out on the 18th. So yeah, you'll have started the new job. So what's the new? Are you allowed to say what the new job is?
I'm going to keep it quiet just for now.
Okay.
Even though I did say it by accident to someone who wrote an article, and then it got put in the article, and I was thinking, oh no. But that's fine. We'll keep it.
We should keep it. Yeah. Mom's the word, although not mom because you didn't get a job as a mom. But that's another. Yeah, there. So so you get so as a depot driver, I mean that sounds like were you hopping into all sorts of vehicles and moving them around? What?
I was with South Western, and the fleet that they had coming in and out of Fratton was literally just the 444s or the 450. So not as much of an array of trains as I would have liked, but then with the little piggies coming in and out every so often, it was like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing in the world. I love this train. I never want to leave this train. So, but yeah, depot driving is very much it's I feel like it's the background that you don't ever think about as a passenger. Like when you get on your train, you don't think, where has this been sleeping overnight, or where has it been cleaned, and it's kind of like almost a thankless job in that sense. And that's what I kind of liked about it, that without the depot and without those that are working in the depot, you wouldn't have the things that are coming out.
Trains need to be cleaned, maintained, have tanks emptied, all this stuff that needs to be happening.
All the grotty bits.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
a hard working place. Everyone does. They just.
Is it quite fiddly? Because I mean, if anyone depots are by their very nature a compact site. It's quite difficult to juggle things around. How difficult is it? Like, how much is there a lot of kind of going back and forth and sort of jiggling things around?
As a driver, I'm going to say in a depot, especially in the depot that I was in, they've got it easy. Absolutely. Someone will go, right, you do this, you do that, and you go and do it. Whereas I'd look back and watch the poor shunters, bless them, they have the hardest job. They have to figure out what's going where, why it's going there, and if it can't go there, what are they going to do with it? And they get a piece of paper from control, and then they have to. So it's a lot harder for them. We're kind of just there to, move the things that they need moving.
I see.
But I don't think I could do that. It's a lot more brain work than anything else.
But you're right. It's all of the jobs that are happening. Every single one is an absolutely vital component in the whole railway system working. It's so. I mean, we could end up doing an entire episode. We've already been talking for 10 minutes. We could do an entire episode on that. But However,
Yes. Yeah, I could go on for. I love the fact that the whole railway is just clockwork, and that it's great fun.
every little piece has to fit into place neatly for the
Yeah.
whole machine to work. It's wonderful. So we're gonna miniaturize our little faces, and we're gonna talk. So that was an introduction to Bessie, everyone. But we're now going to talk. I mean, we've got to introduce Samaritans and talk about. I mean, we've talked about Samaritans before on Rail Natter, but I think Bessie, I think it'd be good if you told us about Samaritans, your experience with Samaritans, and why you feel strongly about raising so much awareness and money for Samaritans.
I could tell you loads and loads about Samaritans themselves. I definitely recommend going onto the website, and especially with like pictures like this, fantastic for information. But down to the railway side of things, it's around 4.4% of suicides take place on the railway, and that's a larger number than it should ever be.
Yeah.
Suicides in general is a larger number than it should ever be, and it is something that has affected every single person on the planet at one point, whether it be a friend, a family member, your favourite actor, your favourite band member, and it's stuff like that. It's everyone is affected, and it's a difficult subject to talk about, you know, especially if it's something personal or it's something that has happened either to you or you felt like it's you know going to happen to you personally in that sense. So it's so important. It's so important to feel like you can talk or feel like that there's someone there to listen to you, and that's where the Samaritans comes in, because not everyone's got someone to listen. Not everyone's got a mate. Not everyone's got family that will sit and listen in that sense. And it is so important, not to the point where, you know, Samaritans are there at the very end, perhaps, that they're there to stop you or help you at your worst moment, but also they're there to listen before it gets to that point, or they're even there to listen. You know, you could ring up Samaritans now and go, I just want to tell you about something that I've done today. And you don't even have to be sad, or you don't have to feel blue, or even at your lowest moment, they will just listen to whatever you want to talk about. And it is so important. It's just such a nice thing. You can just get anything off your chest, no matter what it is. And I love them for it. I really, really do.
It's that's, I mean, absolutely beautifully described as to what they do and why it's important, and it is something that particularly affects us on the railway. Not, as you say, suicides on the railway, the impact then on drivers, and there's almost like a feedback loop of kind of upset and trauma that then the railway kind of has as a result of that. So the railways and Samaritans are kind of very closely linked. You know, it's Ian Prosser's kind of one of his, he really champions Samaritans as something that's very close to him personally, as well as you know, Chief Inspector of the Railways. So it's something that really interlinked with the railways. And so having having this relationship with Samaritans, you then decided, well, you'd raised money for Samaritans last year, hadn't you? You'd done work already raising awareness and money for Samaritans. Yeah. So this year you did something different. And there's a nice, Steph Foster did a nice little sort of piece talking about what you'd done and talking about what you'd done last year, which is really nice. It was popping up all over the place. It was in the Institution of Civil Engineers magazine. Everyone's, you know, lots of people talking about it. Hugely popular on Twitter. It's a sensation.
Yeah. It was, really, really lovely. I wasn't ever expecting anything like it, really. I just was blown away.
Rightly so. It's a sensation, and I'm very pleased that we're going to, in this video, capture a few of these beautiful pieces. Well, I think all of them hopefully are captured within the video. Fingers crossed we managed to capture all of them in picture form for people to explore. But so we'll talk about how you went about them, but what particularly inspired you? In fact, let's go to the next picture, which is wonderfully colourful array of these artworks, and we'll go through each of these in turn. But before you describe them in turn, what inspired you to do this? Why paint Ballast?
It was just a really bizarre eureka moment that it was there. So around Christmas time, January, I had the idea for preparing 6 months to go before Samaritan, what am I going to do? And I had the idea of, I'll just, every person who donates, I'll write their name on a bit of ballast and then I'll carry it around, and probably talk about that later. I had a little sandwich bag for me. It was literally a sandwich bag just with teeny ballast. And I thought to myself, like, there has to be something more. There has to be, and it was literally, I can't explain how it just came into my head. It was just, I'm going to paint on them. I'm going to just give it a go. I'm going to paint on them. Because, I mean, I'm sat in what I call my den at the moment, and everything is just, I've got drawers and drawers and drawers of, it's like a stationery shop in here. I've got paints and pens and paintbrushes. So I had everything for it already. I just needed ballast.
Yeah.
And went down to my local station, because I didn't want to take any from work, because that was wrong. I didn't want to take any from
As
the
a P-way person, I can confirm it's not recommended to take ballast away from a live railway track.
No,
that's
it. I didn't want to cause little holes and stuff around the network, so I thought, oh, come on, please let there be at least a couple, like maybe even a bag somewhere at a station where they're just left to one side. But yeah, luckily went down to my local station, and it kind of, the embankment of the ballast kind of pours into the car park. I was like, this is brilliant. Just
a ready supply.
Yeah, this is all I need. I'll just pick up 31 while no one's looking, chuck them in a bag and run. And that's what I did. So I brought them all home. And some of them were a little bit wobbly. Some of them, they weren't completely flat. So I really had to work with them. I had like some sticky back foam and to stand some up so I can have them on a side, because, yeah, just ornamental sort of thing. And it was a while of a few tests. I've even just spotted on the side. I've got one here, and it literally test.
That's it, yeah.
And yeah, I just had to go back and get a couple more after I'd ruined a few of the test rocks. But yeah, managed to find a way to do it, and it just worked. And I thought, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And at first I thought, maybe I'll open a shop, like a little online shop, and people can just buy them, and then the money can go. And I thought, I don't know how to price these, because I don't know what they're worth. I don't know what they're worth to other people. I don't know what they're worth to me. So maybe an auction, and then that's where the auction idea come from as well.
And it worked wonderfully. I mean, some of them fetched quite an impressive little penny for just a little bit of ballast. But the thing is, they're not just a little bit of ballast. They're a little bit of ballast that's not only got the story of you having snaffled them and then treasured them and then worked to create a beautiful piece of artwork with them. But they've got that. It's kind of they've been on that journey, haven't they? You know, they've been posted. I love it. So, without further ado, we should work our way through. Actually, before we go back to the ballast, so do you do a lot of artwork generally? Like, do you? Yeah,
but I've never sold anything. So behind me, I've got some where I've done cross stitch, where I've done paintings, where I've done glass work. I have a little go on everything, and then usually it gets thrown away or put away, and that's it. It's done.
But painted ballast ends up being your first sold.
Yeah,
first sold artwork.
Felt great. It was a really nice feeling.
Yeah,
I was like, this is it. This is my niche.
Yeah, amazing. And without further ado, I'm gonna pop us. I'm gonna do miniaturized faces, but I might switch our faces on and off depending on. In fact, I'm gonna put our faces off briefly so that we can enjoy the full force of these. So here, in fact, I'm gonna also get, just in case. In fact, you don't want my pen scribbling all over these. There we go. So here we have. Well, in fact, tell us. So in the top corner, we've got a couple of pieces. I think we might spot these again later, one or two of these again later. But talk us through these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces that are in front of us here.
So we've got the top left, we've got Progress, and we've got a couple of 37s. One being the police liveried 37.
The famous police livery 37. I almost don't want to draw on these. Normally I scribble all over my slides, but I don't really want to. There we are. There's the police 37, and then there's the Progress train there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that old advert, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I mean Tim Dunn shares it on Twitter usually about every 3 months. So
yeah, just brilliant. The first time I ever saw it, I was it just I can't get enough of it, so I had to do that. Yeah. Then the bottom left, we've got Corfe Castle. That's actually a photograph. The only photograph that I really copied, like nothing's changed.
Ah, okay.
And that's a photograph by a chap, I believe his name is Stuart, and he's on Twitter at Every Last Station, so you may have fantastic photography. And I when I saw it, I sent him a message and I said, please, can I paint that? And yeah, it was
my dreadful handwriting, Every Last Station.
And
there's another one of the Glorious Progress train there, looking in all its finery.
And then the money that we raised for Progress, I also matched that myself and sent that to Stonewall as well.
Amazing, yeah.
Because it's the charities themselves, I believe they run hand in hand in the sense that the statistics for the mental health suffered by those that Stonewall cater for and talk about and help, and it is so important.
Absolutely.
It's not about enough. So that's why I did Progress, and then we have this one was just me being silly. A 117.
Who remembers one? I like this one because it's the first one with some decent P-way in it as well. So that's big kudos to that, and a really nice tunnel. Lots of us infrastructure people get very excited with this, and also the people who like daft liveries and ex-defunct companies. One to entertain us all.
Used to just make me laugh as a little as well, being at Ipswich myself and hearing the one service on platform 1 leaving at 111, and it's so silly. It's such a silly thing. Lasted for what, all of 4 years?
I know, right? Oh, dear me. So this is pleasing because is this an Azuma? No, it's not. Is it? It's not. It's a Stadler.
Yeah,
it's a Greater Anglia Stadler. Oh,
I thought I had to do it because they were the trains that I worked on. I had to do it. And with the Chapel Viaduct as well being as beautiful as it is, and I just can't capture how fantastic that viaduct is. It's gorgeous.
I think you have captured it rather marvelously. This is an absolutely stunning one. I love this one.
I wanted to, show how high it is and put some birds in there. We'll get some birds in there.
The birds.
And the brickwork as well. Some of the photographs, I couldn't quite show the detail of the painting in the photograph.
Yeah.
It was just so hard to. I'm not the best photographer in the world anyway. But yeah, I really quite enjoyed getting the little bricks. The
little bricks you can see wonderfully in here. There's really nice sort of colour wash in the blue. It's really nice. I quite like this. Something quite impressionist about these actually. When you get, they're quite vibrant colours, and that. If we're going to get art criticky for a moment, there's something quite pleasingly impressionist about it. I like it. I love it.
Thank you.
If the Impressionists had done Greater Anglia Stadler trains, then there we go.
I felt quite bad in the sense that they're not as realistic as I'd like. They're more cartoony, but I try and take that in my stride.
No, but it captures a bit of the energy of it, and I love it. So now here we go. Here's a diverse mixture. Plus loving the tape measure here for the additional sort of how big are these exactly. So we have all sorts. So this is I presume that a certain West Midlander has this one now. Yeah, and so we have the obviously Brunel's lovely sort of bowstring bridge here, and the one of the new measurement train, the Flying Banana there, making its way through as well. So that's wonderful. We also have here, and you're gonna have to tell me about the story of these. You've also snuck in. This is very topical. You've managed to sneak in. You managed to be more topical than rail natters do. You managed to sneak in one of the new bicycle ScotRail coaches, right?
Oh yeah, and I loved painting that. I as soon as I saw it, which was it October last year, I think they announced it and showed pictures.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that train so much. It's beautiful. The livery is just fantastic.
It is, isn't it? It really
and I've
is.
contacted an artist.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna bug me. I can't remember his name now because I've gone all silly. But I'll have to remember and then to let you know. But I contacted him. He said, "Go for it. You know, it's all yours. Play with it." And I really did. I went to town. I loved it. It was so much fun. And the day that I put it on for auction, I was actually going to put a different one on, but I was too impatient. I was really excited about.
I just wanted everyone to see it.
Yeah, I love this one. I'm going to put it online. And then the day that I was actually going to put the Scud on was the day that they actually announced it and called it the Highland Explorer. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I'd actually just done it the day that and I know there were so many weird coincidences throughout the whole month that I was thinking, I wish I'd done that and I wish I'd done this. But yeah, I was so happy with it when I did it, because a lot of my artwork, not so much the Ballast, but a lot that I do outside of, you know, trains and stuff, I look at it and I think, oh, I hate that. I never want to look at it again. It's terrible. But with the Ballast work, I've been so pleased with every single one.
I'm so glad, because they are absolutely wonderful. Honestly, I absolutely adore them. I'm gutted I haven't got any, but I'm very in a way I feel like I've kind of. I feel a bit like a collector having scooped up sort of prints, and I'm kind of happy with that in having recorded them all in this natter. So I'm going to have to suffice with that. So, and then the third image here, is this Selby Swing Bridge, or is it one of the others?
No, it is, Selby.
Hooray!
Yeah. And I love that people, that is such a nice feeling. It gives me like little goosebumps. I love that people can tell exactly what the train is, exactly where it is, and it just feels so nice. It's
got a spontaneous combustion 180 in Hull Trains livery coming over the top, right?
Yeah. And it goes around the curve, so it might still be on fire.
Yeah, it could be on fire just out of shot. Yeah, exactly. No, that's wonderful. I love that. Again, as the engineer, you know, I'm getting very excited about the fact that it's Selby's Swing Bridge. You've got rivets in here. You've really nice to capture the brickwork again. You've got the ballast. You've got the rail. I just love it. The effort that's going to. I mean, these things are. What's that? It's 11.5 centimeters tall. It's tiny, and you've got rivets.
So bumpy.
Yes, it's fantastic.
To painting them, I was having to then hold them at arm's length, because where the rocks themselves, they are so bumpy, certain things I have to do on like a sort of skew whiff sort of thing, to then when it is far away it looks straight on.
That's clever. Yeah, okay.
So that's why a few of them might look a bit funky in the photographs, and that's what I mean, like in photos it's so difficult to get that straight on, but actually once they're up and on a side and you step back, it's like, oh okay, yeah, I see it now.
At some point in 50 years' time, there'll be a curator who'll collect them all up again, and they'll be exhibited together. Just you wait.
In the local charity shop.
No. So, then this is. I mean, this isn't a pair. It's one, but I like this because you've got your ticket for just to prove that.
So this is the person who bought it. They sent me that picture.
Oh really? Oh, that's very nice.
So yeah. They bought it and then they emailed me the photograph and they were like, this is why I've got it. Oh, that is so cool.
That's so nice. Also, the idea of getting an anytime single from Aberdeen to Penzance that costs £63.05. Staff travel card. That would explain it. Because
on the shoulders and shake them a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that ticket's cost that much since the 1960s. But again, look at it. Some nice P-way. There's a big splash because it's Dawlish, everyone. Or is it? I presume it's Dawlish, right?
Yeah, Dawlish.
Good. And the colourful houses, it's lovely. I love this one. It's really nice energy to it. And I can sort of see what you mean about the perspective. Like, even with these two photos, you can sort of see the change in the perspective given like the slight different angle that the photos have been taken.
Yeah. And there was another photograph, I wish I'd sent it to you. It curves, that rock curved round.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the houses at the very top, they almost, curve right round. And that was quite a difficult thing. But as you can see in the photograph that the person who bought it, that they've taken, actually looking at it straight on, it doesn't look curved at all.
No. It looks
quite pleased with that. Quite a lot better than I was expecting it to be. But that one was quite difficult to paint. I've never painted water before. How do you?
Yeah, I know, right? Crikey.
So I was quite chuffed with that.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And these two photos are kind of. I think we've got all of these elsewhere, but they're just some nice collections showing the size, showing kind of how they sit together. Also, I like these because there's kind of this collection of them kind of piling up behind of the artwork as well. It's great. So did you do all of these like kind of all at once? Did you do them months ago, or was it kind of a bit of a mad rush, or were some of them still getting painted through the month? What?
No, I started around January time, and the last one was painted literally a couple of days before it was then put on for auction, which was my final one. But no, it was all planned. But yeah, it did take the full 6-7 months from idea to then putting them online. Sometimes I was able to sit down and smash about 3 or 4 out in a day, and then other times I couldn't seem to focus and they were going a bit wrong, so I'd give it a couple of weeks break and then go back to it.
Yeah. This, I mean, I think we'll come back to for the Fallen, but this one's worth noting that it's got the poppies in the background. It's a really nice touch. Really
yeah, some of them I got a little bit arty with, and there are deeper meanings, you know. So yeah, I did the poppy, and I also did a sunrise, because there was one I did that had a sunset, and then this one I did a sunrise. So yeah, all deeper meanings and all that.
Yeah, it's lovely, and yeah, I just love them. I love them so much. So. I think all of these reappear. The ones that we've not already seen. There's a nice one. There's a nice shot here of the police 37, by the way, just for everyone to
before you go from that page. Actually, the bottom one with 91. The one that I'm holding on the right is the very first finished piece that I did, and so comparing the two.
I see.
Yeah, so that's that photograph. So I've still got that here. I've kept that to myself because the way that I treated the ballast, because every single ballast that I picked up was bleached and scrubbed and then completely, you know, cleaned as if it had never been outside.
Yeah.
But certain cleaning materials reacted funny with the paints. Even how much I rinsed it, certain materials went a bit funky. So as you can see with the one on the right at the bottom, it's got like a weird shiny.
It looks like a kind of a piece of old metal rather than a stone.
Yeah, and I don't know what had happened, but I managed to find a whole thing that worked.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Because I was going to say, by the time you're getting up, you know, the Isle of Wight, we'll get to the Isle of Wight one shortly. The detailing is incredible, given the sort of, you know, the material you're working on. Right. Okay. So. Here's a nice selection. So we've got for the Fallen again there. That's nice. A nice close up showing. It's lovely. It's just a really nice piece. Really nicely captured. It's got obviously everyone's pleased because it's a class 91 and people love those. And then this one, I love this one because it's not just about the train. It's about the people on the railway. And there's someone here sticking their hand up. You know, they've had their PTS training. They've got a white helmet, which means they're definitely PTS trained.
Oh.
Nice. And a little, no, I was about to say Arriva Trains Wales. Sorry, TFW Rail 175 approaching.
It's past you. All that time and relativity.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And talking of past liveries, here's a nice EWS Class 8 shunter. I mean, there's all sorts of old fashioned going on there. I love it. Oh, and the beans as well. I'm enjoying the fact that Bessie's beans has a cameo in a few of these.
Yeah, I thought actually, along with the tape measure, the beans gave a really good size reference.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love the little Class 8 shunter. So tell us about the. In fact, if you've got some stories about the 175 or the 08, or did you just want to capture a little Gronk on Ballast?
Yes. So with the 08, I love the EWS livery. It was just a lot of them were selfishly me painting my favourites,
as they rightly should be.
Because I thought if I paint the ones that I really enjoy, then I'm going to give it all my all. It's going to be my best, and I know something about it and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's why with the Gronk, it is literally just that smack bang in the middle of a rock, just Gronk, because it's just they're brilliant. Not only are they absolutely, I think they're gorgeous. They're so good looking. But they work ridiculous hard. And like I was speaking about earlier, is that it's another thankless thing. It just behind the scenes, doing its thing, years and years and years, and we'd be nowhere without it.
and they're bomb-proof and essentially like utterly timeless. They're like TARDISes. They just seem to have just been this like fixed point in time, and I don't think we'll ever entirely get rid of them. It just seems like they'll be shunting somewhere forever for the rest of Britain's history.
They're like Wally, aren't they?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, they really are.
They're lovely.
So we've already had a couple of staff ones. This one's, as a P-Way person, I'm particularly excited at the fact that you have got a coal-ash rail tamper going on here. This is great. This is fantastic. I don't even know what. There's one image on this screen. I don't know why I drew a line on it. Anyway, and you've got someone sat with the train with the tamper working its way through. It's brilliant. I love this one. It's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So with the Transport for Wales one, I had obviously someone working, armour. So a lot of people saying, I can hear this piece, and I really like that. With the tamper, someone is either, making sure that things are working, but also, time to just chill out. You can have a sit down, you know what you're doing, everything's going to plan, have 5 minutes to yourself sort of thing.
It's nice. It's really nice. I mean, yeah, those are the moments that you crave on site, particularly where you've been walking on ballast for however many miles and doing survey work, as is my normal experience on site. Okay, I don't have to do physical stuff when I'm out on site, thankfully. Well, not like manual labour, but I do have to, apart from moving vegetation out of the way, but I do have to walk a long way usually, and ballast is hard work to walk on, topically. Say that again, sorry.
Especially with like your big boots as well,
yeah.
And you've got your toe cap weighs more than your leg sort of size boot.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like you've got kilogram weights sellotaped to your ankles.
It does.
It really does. So I love this one. Yeah, go on.
Grass, you want to sit on it.
Yeah, exactly. Nice little patch of grass. Have a seat in a So you found a nice position of safety. You've sat in the grass, and you're on Twitter or something. That's there we go. Anyway, so tamper on ballast. Love it. Absolutely love it. And then this now, you're going to have to tell us about this. What is this?
I was thinking I have to do a steam, but I can't really. It's not really not my thing. I enjoy a good steam train, but it's not what I'm about. But I needed to do one, and I thought, oh my goodness, the night mail. I can't do something without night mail. It's just everything about the BFI film. Fantastic recovered bit of footage, just wonderfully remastered. It's brilliant. The poem terrifies the life out of me. There was an advert again that I'm sure Tim has shared. There's an advert that used the poem, and the music in that just scares the life out of me. It's so intense, and
it is intense, isn't it? It's so we had Ian Kitt on talking about British transport films a few episodes ago, and it was quite it was. I mean, this was Night Mail was the film that inspired them all, and there is something eerie about it. There's some otherworldliness to the whole thing.
Yeah, it just, I can't explain it without sounding too mad, but the whole thing in itself just feels quite metal, like not like heavy metal, but
but I know what you mean. Yeah. It's got a flavour, like a texture flavour that film.
Yeah.
And here we've got lovely billowing, smoky steam. Here we've got a nice little moon. That's lovely.
Yeah, more of an illustration-y sort of, almost magical, because I've got the plants in the wind sort of thing going on, and I wanted to just kind of illustrate how the whole thing made me feel in a way, and I loved doing that one.
Good. It's really nicely captured. Really nicely captured.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So here's now we've got beans, and we've got For the Fallen again, but obviously it's useful to have the beans here for scale. There we go. We all enjoy this one. This looks like it's quite a nice flat surface on one side of the ballast, or is that deceptive?
I love training on that. No, that one was so flat, especially on the left hand side. It was so flat compared to all the others.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like a godsend, that bit of ballast. I loved it. A lot of the ballasts, when I looked at them before they ever had anything on it, I knew what was going to be on it. I knew what I wanted to put on the piece.
That's interesting.
I knew that one was going to be a 91, and I think it's just the shape of it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's got that sort of. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of them were like that, where it has to be that on this piece. It has to be, and I'm not going to stop until it's on there. This one is the one and only piece that has coloured pencil on it. There's a bit of... so the soldier is done all in coloured pencil to give it that sort of wispy look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just... I couldn't not have it.
yeah. It's really, that's interesting. I'm now going to have to, after this, I'm going to have to go back through these all and look at all the framing of all of them, because I suddenly realised that how naturally framed all of them are on the stone. That I almost haven't, it hasn't struck me how difficult it is to fit any shape onto a bizarre kind of rock shape, ballast shape. And here we go, the 175 again. Look at with the raised arm. It's nice actually, and you've got the well, if it's Wales, I presume that's a sunset.
That's right.
Yeah, that is nice. That's for me. That's quite nice and evocative, because I spent a couple of years in Wales during my sixth form. Went down to Wales for a couple of years before going back to uni, and went to Aberystwyth. I spent a lot of time on a beach drinking wine with the sun setting, and what a life! So that's quite nice. Brings back nice memories.
That's lovely. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's lovely. That is a lovely one. That really like that.
Thank you.
So here we go. Now I've noted. So we got Corfe Castle back again and Highland Explorer back, but I liked bringing all these back together again because I'm pleased at how. Okay, this is a 153, but I'm pleased at how many sprinters you've captured in your ballast. This I like this a lot.
I had to stop myself from just doing sprinters because they're my favourite. I really had to pull myself away, but. No, they're just a pleasure to draw. I think just because they're so beautiful and beautifully simple. Even though when I was sending pictures to my mum, who doesn't understand trains at all, she was going to me, "Oh, but they look like they've got a moustache." And I was going, "Oh no, Mum." Oh no. And then I can't ever unsee it.
I know. I can now. I cannot unsee that.
Yeah. Sorry, broken.
Thanks, Bessie's mum. But again, framing. I'm enjoying the framing on these. It makes it suddenly. I've realised it makes sense. I quite the Highland Explorer one with the exposed shape. I love that as well. It's really nice. The stone colour here, rather than painting it, you've left the stone. I just quite like that. It's just great. And then also nicely tied into Rail Natter, because the first proper Rail Natter episode, back episode 2 maybe 1 or 2, was about the Class 158. So there you go. You're back, by the way. There's a momentary lapse, but you're back.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's fine. You're back. It's nice, and I can clip and crop. No worries. So there we have the lovely collection of sprinters. Now, what else have we got? Oh. So we finally have an Azuma, I think.
Yeah,
and it's right. On the finest railway structure, and to my mind, the finest human-created structure in the world of the Forth Bridge. Tell us about this one.
I couldn't have not done the Forth Bridge. It just the big licorice bridge. It just you have to do it, and with it being so intricate, it was also then a challenge that I'm going to do this. So I wanted to focus more on the bridge than rather the train itself, which is why I have done, because you can tell an Azuma from far away. It was an absolute pleasure and hell to draw.
It has quite a lot of cross bracing, which means lots of red lines that would become a splodge if you're not careful.
Yeah, which it did a few times, and then I'm having to go back in when it's dry and then have the patience to wait for it to dry and try and fix it. And it was good fun. I do look back at that. I did have fun with them.
This one is beautiful, and I do need to go back through Twitter to find out who got it, so that I can bribe them, and then bribe them with an even larger donation to Samaritans to steal off them. But I have a funny feeling, given how wonderful this one is, that they won't relinquish it. It's wonderful, it really is. And again, that shape, it's got the sort of the sort of diamond shape. This bit of ballast, I love it. It's got of the Forth Bridge. It's got that shape, the 3 bits of the
wobbly and bendy and all sorts of. There was a point where I was thinking maybe I should just sand them all down. No, I'm not going to tamper them.
Ultimately, they are ballast, and they are designed to form an interlocking matrix to allow free draining track. So
And God, it does.
yeah, they ain't going to stand upright very neatly. It's true. No, I adore this one. It's absolutely wonderful. And then, of course, we showed it earlier. This one has wonderful detail again on it. We're on the Isle of Wight with the. I mean, they're gone now, aren't they? They're entirely gone. The old ancient 38 stock, I think it is. Someone correct me. Someone somewhere correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But anyway, I think it's 38 stock, isn't it?
Right. Is it 483? I feel like 483 is right.
Yes, I think that is the class that they have. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. All the nerds in the chat right now are keeping us right, so we're good. It's lovely. Also, lovely turquoise sea, just evoking that lovely southern sea, that lovely warm southern sea we have there, or that you have as a southern person. We don't get those up here.
And I haven't quite experienced it yet myself. I've just locked myself away in the house or work, and that's it. I don't see the sea.
That's a really nice one. The pier. This is it's Ryde Pier, right?
Right, yeah. And a lot of these I was painting. I was thinking, why have I chosen this? This is so difficult.
So did these get a varnish as a final coat to protect them?
Yeah, so everything got varnished. The first time I ever varnished one, it all bled out, and I could have cried. And I redid it all on the top, and read the back of the varnish, and actually listened to it when it said hold 15 centimeters away. So that was cool. But yeah, no, they're all varnished. So with every single one, I sent a little note saying thank you. It was almost like a certificate of authentication, like that.
Yeah.
And it said, yeah, thank you. This is how much you've raised, what it's going to do, what number ballast you have. And then on the back, in my worst handwriting, because that's all I have, is me writing, please keep it indoors.
Okay,
Just in case. Yeah. I don't think your ballast likes the rain. I don't know. I've not tried it.
Best not to check. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, please don't check. Please keep it indoors. But yeah, so that's why a few of the photographs, you'll see that they do have that sheen to them.
Yeah.
Because onto the varnish.
I quite like it. I think it gives it quite a nice sort of as a way to collect, not having the real thing in front of me. I quite like the little sheen. It gives them a physicality, a 3D kind of feel to them. It's nice. So now I feel like I'm getting close to home again because it's a TransPennine 185. What's this one?
Yes. So I thought to myself, I liked painting scenes as well as just the trains themselves and just the units and that themselves. And I wanted to paint a level crossing. So I went onto Google and typed in TransPennine level crossing, nothing. And then I went onto Twitter, I typed the same thing, nothing. So it's a made up level crossing in the middle of Yorkshire that's kind of blended with a few of them. And there we go.
It looks quite similar to one north of York, actually. So it's certainly evocative for me.
That's good. Yeah, I'm hoping that it is kind of plain enough that there's one out there that looks like it.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing all of them really, but yeah, getting the light on there and just having it so that you can again hear it. I like the people that work around the railway, and even people that don't. You can hear some of the scenes because you're so used to it.
I can even hear the birds in the background going. Like it's a really nice one, and also it's an excuse to get that fantastic TPE livery out because it is a fun livery.
Oh, it's brilliant livery, and then I managed to find they'd done a time lapse video on YouTube, and I put that on the whole thread about it. Oh, it was a brilliant video. They had all facts, and it was great.
Oh, nice. Look that up, everyone. Oh, in fact, go on, follow Bessie on Twitter as well. Fantastic. Oh, wait a minute. In fact, can I remember it? It is. Wait, is it this? I have to get this right now. Is this right? Is that right?
Yes. So just be SSBBE.
That's the one. Follow Bess on Twitter, everyone, because you can go back and kind of follow the story of the month of the auctions and the sort of little stories with each one. They're lovely. They're really nice. Yeah, I obviously loved it. It feels local, so I feel a particular attachment to this one. And then this is so niche. It's so niche that you've done this. I love that you have done this. Tell everyone about this one.
It is such a spooky train. So 4000. It sounds quite robotic. So it's the Kestrel. It's known as Kestrel. It was a prototype that somehow then no one really knows when or where it is at the moment. There was a story that it got sent to Russia and that's it. That's all we know. Has it been scrapped? Who knows? Is it at the bottom of a pond? Maybe. Like, it's just such a spooky thing about it, and it's quite a scary train in itself. But then the head code itself that I've put on there, 1099, is the rescue head code. So
interesting.
That was kind of a nod to Samaritans, that they're there to rescue us.
Yeah.
So if they had a head code, it would be that one. But,
such an and it's a lovely one as well. I like the little starscape, and the windscreen wipers are going, and there's some well drawn P-way, which obviously makes me happy. It's a lovely one. This really nice, and yeah, Kestrel is bonkers as a locomotive. It weighed so much. It was also very, very powerful. It's very steampunky. It is.
It's almost like it was their idea of what the future would look like.
Yeah. Just to give it more horsepower, I think was the logic. It was quite something. But yeah, you're right. Goodness knows where it is. It's somewhere in the Eurasian continent, probably. I think there's too much metal in one place for it to have rusted to nothing. So it probably is broadly intact somewhere. But who knows? So this is okay. So we are this is kind of the penultimate one, because I thought it was nice to tease for the last one. So tell us about this one, and then we'll go on to the next three, and you can tell us about those two.
So the last one, my final ballast, was always going to be Freightliner's 66415. It was named, or it is named, You Are Never Alone. And it was named as such in partnership with Samaritans. Greater Anglia were there. They put in for some, and then obviously Freightliner. But yeah, because it is so deeply connected with Samaritans, it was always going to be the last one. And the picture here, that was going to be number 31, and it just, at the end, it was coming close. It must have been on the 29th of July. I thought to myself, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not that final pizzazz sort of that I need. You can't just do something for a whole month and then just end on the same sort of note. And especially, as you can tell, it was one of the first ones that I ever did, because it's so small, and it's very cartoony, and it's quite bled out a little bit, and something just wasn't right about it for it to be the very last one. So it was still going to be the same train, but I needed to repaint it.
I see. And then that's when...
And then that's when, a triptych was born. I haven't done a triptych since college. Like, who does So for those of you that might not know, being put through that pain of doing a triptych in school, a triptych is just a piece of 3 bits of separate artwork that blends together to make one, pretty much. I ran down to the station. Oh my goodness, I need to find 3 bits of ballast. Just picked up any old bits. Run home, and I was thinking, I've only got really 2 days to do this.
Oh my goodness.
And I can't really do it on the 31st. I've got 24 hours, and I'm starting to panic. I stayed up. I got the idea about 8 o'clock in the evening, and I then went and got the ballast straight away. Stayed up until 5 o'clock in the morning, just painting. Managed to finish it, and was just it just flowed out the end of my fingers. It just came. It was just perfect, absolutely perfect, in a way that's how I had it in my head, and that's how it came out of my hand. And that's so rare for that to happen, because usually I'll have an idea in my head and it kind of looks like the idea. But I was just so relieved. And then luckily I had a box frame lying around.
Oh, nice.
It was a relief. That is number 31. The one before, that's kind of, but what we ended with is number 31.
And it is wonderful. It's wonderful detail. It's such a nice piece. It really is. It's just absolutely wonderful. And it went to a loving home. It's just lovely. It's fantastic. And you're right. This is like I was hesitant. Like the last one was really nice, but actually you're right. It did need something just a little. You needed something with a big bang to end such a kind of a wonderful collection on. And I think this is it. It really is it.
And the fact that everything worked without anything going wrong, and I'm touching wood because I don't think it's got to its home yet.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, it just everything worked. Like I did the way that it's fixed in was just I tried every bit of glue ever, and it's bolted in. I've managed to bolt it in, so at the very back of the frame you can see where the bolts have gone.
Oh yeah.
Screwed in, and it's just I'm so scared of touching it, but it worked, and I've signed and dated it, and the green border is for Samaritans.
Yeah.
And I love doing it. It was quite difficult in the sense as well that I had to line everything up perfect, like the black lines had to fit and the white lines had to fit, and
yeah.
You
pulled it off. You pulled it off. You really did.
I was because I didn't have a plan B. I don't usually do anything unless I've got a plan B. I like to fall back on something if it was to go wrong, and I didn't have a plan B. There was no going back.
So and it was a wonderful way to end. And this wasn't so. We've talked a little bit about how you did these, but these are kind of nice sketches of breakdowns. Having seen that wonderful collection, it's kind of interesting to see how you pulled them together. So there's 2 sketches here of some of the ones you did, and it's quite nice to see how you put them together. Yeah, so you've talk us through kind of fairly quickly. Talk us through kind of the process that you went through for these 2.
So after loads of going wrong and testing different bits, I found the magic formula, which was just normal kitchen side spray after a good bleaching. So bleach the ballast and make sure it's like proper disinfected. Then a normal just kitchen side spray, wipe it all down, let that dry. Then the white base coat is a fantastic medium called gesso, and it's spelled GESSO if anyone's interested. It primes the surface and adds tooth, almost like a nice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And almost turns it into a canvas-like feel, and then sketch it on. As you can see, the sketch kind of looks a little bit like you really have to kind of know what you're looking at when you're drawing it. So you can't just stop halfway through and then walk away, because I'd come back and think, oh, what was I doing?
Yeah.
But then, once I got the sketch on, the rough sketch, I'd go in with coloured pencil underneath. So I'd use coloured pencil with all of them as a base colour, but never really anything other than 91 as like the final.
As the final finish,
But everything is base with coloured pencil. So I knew where the colours were going to go down. And then it's all an amalgamation of stuff. So we've got acrylic paint. We've got a paint which I don't actually know how to pronounce. I think it's like gouache or gouache or gouache. I don't know. I've only ever seen it written down.
I know which one you mean. I have no idea how you pronounce it either.
No, I don't. I think gouache sounds nice. Then there's coloured biro. There's marker pens. There's all sorts, and not everything has the same medium on there. So some of them are just paint, just acrylics, or some of them are just gesso. Not gesso, sorry, the gouache stuff. But certain mediums really go with a different look. So with the white dots on our Scott rail there, it was a white chalk pen, which brought it out and stayed bright and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then finished off with a nice sealer from 15 centimetres away.
Yeah, take note. 15 centimetres, everyone. Don't dissolve your artwork.
Dissolve it and start crying. And then that's it. Then they're done. And each one I numbered and signed at the back and sent them home.
Oh, and there they are. But that wasn't the end of the story, because in fact, firstly, talking of sending them places, here's the map. I love this. I love you did a little map showing where they all ended up.
Love a good map.
Yeah. They did end up fairly far and wide. A few went up to Scotland there. There's one in Fife and one up in Glasgow.
Yeah, I think the furthest away one travelled was around 485 miles. So from where I live, it went around 485 miles. And then the closest one, I could have just dropped it off at their door. Only 40 miles down the road.
Oh, right.
But I still posted it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
it,
that was not the end of the story, because you distributed them out, but also you were collecting up ballast. This is your original plan, wasn't it? Which is you're
yes.
collecting up ballast, and indeed eventually you ended up with a huge collection of ballast.
Oh, the best collection of ballast. I can't believe how heavy that became at the end of the month. I got one strong arm.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a for here we are. Everyone who noticed this one, by the way, we did send a little donation in to support Bessie and Samaritans. It was it's quite the collection. It's fantastic, and then from this collection, you didn't just paint them and look at them and think they're nice. No, you very much
them with me everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean everywhere, and it was great because when I first started, and I posted it out, and I said, "Oh, if you donate, I'll put your name on a ballast, and I'll take it with me everywhere." And I had a nice little orange envelope, the same little orange envelope that I was sending the ballast out in. And I had about 20 in there. And I was thinking, "Oh, it's getting really full. I can't believe I've got 20 donations. This is amazing." These people, I can't thank these people enough for the donations that they sent in, and they're all with me. Where are we going to go in this tiny little envelope? After 3 days, the envelope was overflowing. Oh no! Someone suggested, Artist, bless him, he suggested, you need a bag. So I know just the bag that I need. London Transport Museum, child's backpack. That's the one. I'm taking it everywhere in that backpack. And it did so
and
well.
You took it to all sorts of places. You had all sorts of shenanigans with it.
I took it everywhere. As you can see, the bottom right picture, that wasn't even the heaviest, and it just, my shoulders.
Is it causing you some serious injuries? Yeah.
Yeah. I can still feel it now. So having that extra weight on one shoulder for a month, because where it was a Litney's backpack, I couldn't wear it on both arms all the time. It was literally just hanging off the one arm. But really took it on some adventures. I went and visited a friend of mine in London. We went and walked around the Transport Museum, and even he was saying, what on earth is that?
Yeah.
Look at all my mates. And, I go to a little fitness class, and I was taking it with me there. And it was just such a nice feeling when people are going, what is that bag? Thinking there's just me having a weird bag, which I would normally do anyway. And the amount of times I turn around, I go, it's full of rocks. I go, what? And I was like, no, really? Every single rock in here, and I'll be opening up, every single rock in here is a donation that I've received for the Samaritans, and it was just a conversation starter, and it was brilliant, and I got a few donations from that as well, and it just,
nice.
It was just fantastic. I'd never expected it to, it was amazing. And at a time like this as well, when, we have all been so isolated, to actually have so many people with me in ballast form was a really nice feeling. That whole weight is just, that was around like 7 pounds of support, and it felt fantastic. It was a really nice thing.
Oh. And you sent a few pictures of you and having shenanigans with this little shunter. Tell us about this little shunter and
That's at Bressingham, and I believe that was when we hit 50 donations. I believe that is the 50th, and I was just placing them along this thing, leaning over the railing, and people looking at me. I was thinking, oh, please don't kick me out. Please don't kick me out. Placing all these rocks, and the amount of people that were falling on the floor, not people, the ballast of people, they were falling on the floor where they've got all their funny edges, and it was just great. It was a good way to celebrate, actually. We're doing this because of Samaritans who are then helping people around the railway, and then so let's do some railway things because we love some railway things. Aww. And let's go see Mavis. Let's go.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
And 50 turned into 121.
121.
121 donations, just speechless. It gives me that lump in my throat.
and you should feel phenomenally proud for coordinating, because in 2020 you did an incredible feat of raising over £1,000 for Samaritans, but this year I think you just announced it on Twitter in real time rather than in Rail Natter time, but we can sort of remind everyone tonight, which is that this year you raised nearly £6,000 for Samaritans. It's absolutely incredible.
I had to Google the word quintuple because I didn't know how to say what we'd done. We smashed it.
£5,834. It's just incredible. It really is incredible. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You should be so proud of yourself. And also, you did it with style. You did it with a little backpack, very stylish, full of ballast, slicing one of your arms off. And then you created these 31 wonderful pieces of art for people to have for all time. It's lovely. Absolutely wonderful. What I can do now is close out, in fact, because we've ever so slightly tickled over time, but I don't mind, because it's been a delight from top to bottom. Everyone, you can listen to this podcast in podcast only form. I think last week or the week before we fixed the podcast, so it's back up. It's being uploaded, I think, automatically now, thanks to some whiz-giggery from Ella. So thanks, Ella. So we are back in podcast form. Thanks for listening. We are available on. You can support us on Patreon to make more of this happen. You can go to the Discord server where the chats shall continue forevermore, and also you can chuck pennies. But don't worry about that now. In fact, put donations into other places for this episode. Frankly, it's a bit weird putting my plugs in. I have to do it, and my Patreon people tell me off if I don't. But there we are. So, and we have to plug multiple episodes that are coming up, because I'm on holiday right now. I'm literally on holiday I think I'm in Serbia this week, and then I'm on my way back across Europe by train in whatever countries currently are green. So next week is episode 76 of Rail Natter, and we're finally reaching the HS2 South Portal, where I did a lot of videoing, and I'm going to be going back there to talk about the longest railway viaduct, which is also being built from the very same site. But we're going to talk about building Britain's longest railway tunnel, because that's what's happening there. It's very exciting. The week after, episode 77, here is a snapshot from when Tim and David and I ran around the warehouse in the National Railway Museum, rambling on about nonsense. Well, we're going to do that, except it's just going to be me, and the challenge is for me to natter non-stop for an hour in what's called the North Shed of the Railway Museum. Best of luck to me for that. It's going to be easy, let's face it, but people are going to be rooting for me to run out of things to say at 45 minutes. It's not going to happen. That's episode 77. And then the week after that, we're back live again for episode 78, which is going to be everyone talks about beaching, and I dare say 95% of people who talk about beaching have probably never actually looked at the beaching report, or the first one. So we're going to actually have a page turn through beaching's first report, the reshaping of British railways. We can actually look at it page by page. That'll be might be thrilling stuff. That might be right up your street. It might be a horror show for you as well. The stuff of nightmares. In any case, you've got that to look forward to. Oh, let's go back to our large faces. We got there. Bessie, that's been brilliant. So thanks so much for joining us and telling us the wonderful tale. We didn't even have a screen crash, but your pup didn't run in and say hello. I
literally just put her on the floor. She was honking the whole way through you talking. I was like, no, please be quiet.
She's been wonderful, wonderfully well behaved. So,
thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you so much. I can't thank everyone enough for the donations, for the bids, for the retweets, the articles written. Thank you for having me here. It feels wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's been a really joyous month to watch it kind of balloon and balloon and balloon. It's just been lovely. And, you've raised an amazing amount of money. You've raised a huge amount of awareness. It's been a really good, positive month. Who knows what might happen next year? You can do nothing and be happy for what you did this year. You could go. Who knows? But you've done some fantastic work and created some beautiful things. And it's been a pleasure to have you on tonight's show. It really has. Depot driver and ballast artist extraordinaire Bessie Matthews, everyone. And it only really remains. Oh, go for it. Plug.
Sorry.
Do a plug. Yes.
a good plug actually. The gentleman who did the design for the Highland Explorer, Peter McDermott. I remembered his name.
There we are. Look him up. It's
for letting me use his artwork.
We shall we shall be running. We shall definitely be going up for a rail natter to have a trip on that particular train, taking a bicycle up and seeing how it works and everything for a future episode in the future.
Right.
Bessie, thank you so much. And it only really remains for us both to sort of shout cheerio into our respective microphones. Thanks everyone for watching. Cheerio.